everyone, Darius McCrary, once the lovable face of 1990s family television as Eddie Winslow on the hit sitcom Family Matters, now finds himself at the center of a real-life drama that reads like a Hollywood thriller gone wrong. A fall from grace that has stunned fans and left his career hanging by a thread as he faces potential extradition after a move that authorities have called not only reckless, but deeply suspicious. To understand how the beloved sitcom star ended up in such a dire position, we need to rewind the clock and unpack a chain of decisions, legal troubles, and personal battles that ultimately collided in a way that might change his life forever. McCrary's story began with the promise of fame. He was a natural performer, charismatic and sharp, whose breakout role as Eddie Winslow made him a teenage idol. He was the cool older brother everyone looked up to, a symbol of the wholesome, middle-class African-American family that Family Matters brought to mainstream audiences. But the fame that came with it was both a blessing and a curse. When the sitcom ended in the late 90s, McCrary struggled to escape typecasting and to build a stable career beyond the shadow of Eddie Winslow. Acting gigs came sporadically, and the pressure to maintain a certain lifestyle persisted. Over time, the financial and emotional strains began to show. Divorces, custody battles, and mounting child support obligations started to follow him like a dark cloud, eroding the clean-cut image fans remembered. By the early 2000s, he had developed a reputation for chaos. Legal disputes with ex-partners, claims of domestic issues, and frequent run-ins with courts over missed child support payments. Yet somehow, McCrary managed to remain relevant through social media and occasional film appearances, painting himself as misunderstood, a man trying to rebuild. But in recent months, things took a shocking turn when authorities in Michigan issued a warrant for his arrest on a felony charge related to unpaid child support that had reportedly climbed into the tens of thousands. The situation worsened when McCrary allegedly left the state while the warrant was active, a decision prosecutors now say triggered extradition protocols once he was detained by authorities near the U.S.-Mexico border. According to reports, McCrary was allegedly attempting to travel into Mexico for what his team claimed was a charitable or business trip. But to law enforcement, it looked like an attempt to evade accountability. When border officials discovered the outstanding warrant, he was immediately taken into custody, setting off a media frenzy that reignited long-dormant questions about his personal life. Court documents suggest that McCrary had been ordered to appear in a Michigan courtroom weeks earlier and failed to do so, leading to the warrant. His team insists it was a miscommunication, that he never received the notice. But judges rarely show sympathy for repeat absences, especially when child support is involved. Once in custody, McCrary reportedly attempted to argue for self-representation, invoking obscure legal phrases that baffled the courtroom. The judge, citing concerns over his understanding of the law, denied bail and ordered him held pending extradition. It was a humiliating fall for a man who once symbolized charm, humor, and brotherly wisdom on national television. But the story doesn't end there. Behind the headlines lies a more complicated truth about how former child stars often struggle to navigate adulthood after early fame. McCrary's pattern of erratic decisions, financial mismanagement, turbulent relationships, and emotional instability mirrors the trajectory of countless others who peaked too early and were left without guidance when the spotlight dimmed. Now, as he sits in a San Diego detention center awaiting transfer back to Michigan, McCrary faces the possibility of real jail time, financial ruin, and the permanent stain of a felony record. His supporters argue that he's being unfairly targeted, that systemic biases and media sensationalism have amplified his mistakes beyond repair. His critics say he's had countless chances and squandered them all, prioritizing ego over responsibility. Either way, the extradition case has become a spectacle, with reporters dissecting every move and fans torn between pity and disappointment. What makes this saga especially tragic is how preventable it all was. A simple court appearance, a payment plan, a show of accountability could have kept him free. Instead, a risky border crossing may have sealed his fate. Hollywood's memory is short, but the internet's is forever. And now, every time Darius McCrary's name trends, it's not for his iconic TV role, but for his legal entanglements. As extradition proceedings move forward, the actor's next chapter hangs in the balance. Will this be the moment that finally forces him to confront his past and rebuild with humility? Or will it mark the end of a career that once symbolized family, laughter, and love? Only time will tell, but one thing is certain. Darius McCrary's latest move wasn't just risky. It was the kind of gamble that exposes the harsh truth behind the curtain of celebrity, where fame fades, responsibility remains, and every choice carries a price that even a TV star can't escape. Thanks for watching.